Hi everyone, it's Shari Carroll here to bring you the Simon Says Stamps March 2013 card kit. For the card I'm creating for this video, I've used a lot of the solid cardstocks that are available in the kit, and I've stamped my own backgrounds using the stamps from the March card kit. So I've pre-cut some papers here, and I want this to look like a little Polaroid, and I've also used some of the solid cardstock and made a top folding card. So my little Polaroid has the Desert Storm paper that sits in the front, and I also have a piece of scrap paper here that I'm going to go ahead and stamp my flower. So this is the stamp set that comes in the kit, and I love it because of the solid graphics. There's also outline flowers and great messages that go all together. So you can use so many stamps from this one set. So I've put my flower onto my acrylic block, and I'll be grabbing my Butter Bar ink from Hero Arts, and I absolutely love this ink. It's a mid-tone ink, and I'm just tapping it onto my stamp, and next I'll just go ahead and press this onto my paper, and I'll show you the image here in a second. It stamps really crisp, and the colors do lighten up over time. I've decided that I want to cut this flower out, and so here I have my cutter bee scissors, and I'll just go ahead and cut around each of the petals, and I'll leave a small white border in between so it kind of pops from the paper. So I'll just be going ahead and cutting out each individual petal, and I'll show you how this looks when I'm done. Okay, so I have my flower all cut out, and now I have a little flower here that is this, or the dots that are going to go in the center, sorry about that. And I'll be using the soft granite shadow ink, and it's a soft color gray, and it's really a true gray. And so I'll go ahead and tap my image to the ink pad and stamp it onto my scrap paper here. And for this one I'll be using a 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'll grab that, and here's my 1/2 inch circle punch from EK Success. And next I'll just, with my image facing up so I can see it through the center, I'll go ahead and align that. Once I'm ready, I can go ahead and pop that out, and that will become the center of my flower. I do like to use dimensional foam dots, so I'm grabbing my foam dots here, and I can just go ahead and just put one of these little tiny squares on the back of that circle, and I might as well go ahead and put it onto my flower right now as I am starting to assemble this card. Okay, so next I want to pull attention to the Desert Storm piece, and this is a 2.5 by 2.5, I believe is what I stamped it. So here I have the stem and leaves, which is in that set, and I'm also using soft olive ink and another Hero Arts soft shadow ink, and this one's just a really nice pale olive ink, and it's perfect for stamping. And so once I have that all inked up, I'll go ahead and stamp this onto this little panel here and just align it to where I want it and give it a good press, and it's ready to go. So now my flower will sit on top like that, and my flower will overhang this little panel here. And since I have my foam dots out, I might as well go ahead and put my foam dots onto the back of the flower. I won't be loading this one up so much. I'm just going to put it in the main area, so I'm using it in the center of the flower. I've decided that I also want to stamp some little flowers onto this background, and I'm going to choose this little solid flower here. There, I can show you there. It's just a really cute, whimsical solid flower. And for this image I'm going to be using the Unicorn White ink pad, and this is also from Hero Arts, and it's one of my most favorite white ink pads. It's very opaque, and it works really well on craft. If you've seen my cards before, you know that I love to stamp white on craft. So this is going to give a really sweet effect to the card, and it just almost makes this little background paper look like it was pattern paper to start off with. It only takes a couple seconds to fill up this little piece of paper, and it really adds a lot of background texture and interest to the card. So now I can go ahead and put my flower in place, and that will sit onto its little Polaroid frame like that. I want to stamp a little scallop edge on here, so I'm just running my pencil under the edge, and I'm just going to give this just a little bit of a mark so I can kind of use it as a guide on where I want to stamp my little scallop edge. So I've chosen the really small scallop, which is at the very top, once you pull this off, it is such a pristine stamp, it's hard to tell which is top and which is bottom, or the front or the back of the stamp. So once I've decided, I'll go ahead and lay this on my surface and then press my block to that. I like to do that so that I don't bend the stamp when I'm putting it on. And here I'm using the soft granite shadow ink again from Hero Arts, and I've just tapped that onto that stamp, and my funny looking hair is in the way, but I'll go ahead and line that up with that pencil mark that I have there. And I don't need to erase the pencil because my little panel will go ahead and cover that up. So I want you to take note of how dark this ink is in the beginning and try to remember at the end, maybe hopefully I can remind you as to how much it lightens up as it soaks into the paper. So next I'll be stamping my Hello Spring, and I'll go ahead and put this onto my block. And for this I'll be using the Hero Arts Memories black ink, and it's one of my favorite black inks because it's very permanent and it also stamps very crisp. There's no wicking or bleeding when you stamp with this. It's very crisp, it dries immediately, and you can also use it for watercoloring. So I will move my little panel out of the way and get my big head in the way. And you guys are lucky, you're seeing some morning hair here. So once I have placed that, I went ahead and stamped that onto my little Polaroid piece. So now this will all sit on the card like so. And of course I am going to want to add some dimensional tape to this. I do give my cards out by hand most of the time. I rarely send them through the mail, and if I do, I'll put them in a bubble wrap type package, so I really don't have to worry about the bulk that I add to my cards. So that'll sit up on the top like this, and it'll give it a little bit more depth and dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and add one to the center, and one of my tricks of the trade is I like to peel that off and then grab lint from my sleeve, and this helps me when I go to put this down. If I don't have the right alignment, the lint that I've picked up from my sleeve helps the tape not stick so much. So if I do have to reposition it, I can pull that up and do that if I need to. Next I want to stamp the background of this pool mint color paper, and there's another really cute flower in this set, and it's more of an outline flower. Here it is right here. It's really adorable. So I'm going to be using my unicorn white ink again, and I'm going to randomly stamp this little flower all over the background. And I like this because the outline of the flower, it doesn't make it too solid, it doesn't make it show up so much. It's just a nice hint of this little flower in the background. So I'll just be randomly stamping this, and I'll show you how this looks when it's done. Okay, to finish things off, all I need to do is to use my adhesive, and I'll go ahead and put this card together, and it will look something like this. So here's a look at my finished card. I think the only thing I added to this was a little twine bow just at the base of the flower stem. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on the March Simon Says Stamps 2013 card kit. Thanks for watching.